I have a couple of mentors in my life, and one mentor that I'm working with right now, I was telling them like parts of my life story, and when I was like trying to like make myself sound really cool, he just was like, no, like your shoulders go up and your jaw like gets tighter, and you're like, I can tell that you're fucking lying to me, and I'm just like, thank you for calling me on my bullshit because I need to tell you what's going on. I'm not trying to sound cool to this process, and I was like blown away. Like within a 30-minute conversation, he knew that I was fucking trying to lie to him, just make me sound cooler.
Yeah.
Like what? And like having mentors in my life, like especially in my spiritual way of life, like through the and then I had a mentor for the gym. I got a couple mentors through business. Another guy's helping me like navigate this podcast and stuff. Like, do you have anyone that you look up to or like have been mentored from?
Yeah. Well, I feel like I've been living under a rock for a while because it was college and then family stuff and all that stuff. But my grandpa was a big mentor of mine. Just in being supportive, but also I learned so much from him. He was such an incredible man. And my dad too. We spent some time post-divorce not really liking each other. We didn't actually talk for a while. We had a really bad relationship. Part of that was like, we are just alike. And once I got into college and, I don't know, we moved past our bullshit and we got to be really close. And so he was a huge part of my life, a huge mentor of mine. And Lois Steinbeck, I adore her. She owns the barn where I board my horses. And growing up, I was in this horse program, and I say that very loosely, because it got me around horses, but it was not a very positive place to be. And I got in a situation, I was a freshman in high school. No, I was a freshman in high school, and I remember it clear as day. I was in Taco John's with my parents crying, like, I gotta get out of this situation. And I called her on the phone and I said, Lois, I need help. And the next weekend I had some friends and my dad, and we hauled all my horses and my hay and everything out to her house, and she had already taken me in under her wing. She was teaching me, I was riding with her a lot, and she just, like, I needed to get out of a situation, and she took me in, no questions asked, and she's been a big mentor. She's just like a really tough, badass, just smart woman she's cowboy, she's been a truck driver, she's showed a lot of horses, she worked for the legislature doing budget stuff. I don't actually know what her job was, to be honest. It was like way above way above my head. Yeah. But she's always been like a big mentor and inspiration to me, because I really value strong-willed women, especially. Mm-hmm. They're just like, because I've worked in construction, I've worked as a rancher, and I've been in the horse world. Like, so much stuff is very much male dominated, and
yes.
I grew up in a family where they were like, no, we're you do you kind of thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Which was cool, and my mom definitely instilled in me you're a woman, and that's fucking awesome. Like, you have a lot of power, and you can do this, and you can do these different things, and she, I don't know, my mom's a tough lady. Typical redhead.
Your mom has red hair?
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
And I think when she gets, like, really passionate about something, her eyes get greener and her hair gets redder.
Okay.
I swear, like.
Okay. But, it's like her ginger glow?
Yeah, it's something. I love her to death. She's just a tense woman. But she's also, like, I mean, she decided, I don't know when, but she decided to start teaching herself to sew, and now she has a sewing business, and
really?
It's following. Yeah, it's incredible. She makes all, like, I go down to her lair, we call it.
Her lair.
It's her sewing. It's the whole basement now. It used to be just like a machine and some projects, and now it's the whole basement. It's hers.
That's awesome.
And yeah, so she just, I don't know, and she's a person who, she will advocate like crazy for people. Like, when I was in high school, I was obviously struggling. I was having seizures all the time, and I was just all this stuff, and my parents were so different. I look at them, and I'm like, you guys are married? You guys are married for that long? What? But my dad was like this really compassionate, really giving, benefit of the doubt type person and kind of socially awkward sometimes and love bad dad jokes and hilarious and always willing to take in somebody, which was huge for me. Just a compassionate man. And my mom was like this crazy advocate. Like, I don't mean crazy like crazy. She was like gonna fight for the one she loves.
Yeah.
She's gonna do
She's
the
a
research.
fanatic for you.
Yeah, she's gonna do the research and she's gonna figure it out and she's gonna get it done. And so I had like this weird balance between my parents, which was pretty cool. And they, I don't know, I think people are generally doing the best that they can. And it might, I don't know, if they're doing the best that they can, then I think that that's perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, you're right. If they're doing the best that they can, that's the best they're gonna be, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You can choose to have that person in your life or not, but really, it's up to you.
Yeah.
You were talking about your dad, and like, when I was probably like 15, I did a beer run at Holiday, and the clerk caught me, and the cop showed up, and your dad came down. He's like, "Why are you trying to steal beer from me?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I just had surgery on my rotator cuff, so I was doped up on pills, and like, don't steal beer. Seemed like a great idea. Anyway, so your dad was like, just pay for the case and like get out of here. Like, didn't press charges on me. Like, he could have,
Yeah.
but he didn't. And then like he told me I wasn't allowed in Holiday, and I like for years I was afraid of going to Holiday. And then like you became closer in my life,
Yeah.
and like then I saw him more. I'm like, oh my god, like this guy, like jeez, like. And then we started working together, and I was like,
at Pizza Hut,
yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, like, what, like, I'm so embarrassed, like, I want to hide from this guy, like, and I was like, fuck, I gotta make an amends to him, because I was started being in recovery, because I went to treatment for heroin, and whatever, and, like, I made amends to him, and he was like, yeah, man, all is forgiven, like, I don't even think he remembered.
He probably didn't, to be honest.
And he was like, all is forgiven, like, you're good, man, like, just keep doing you, and I'm like, holy shit, like I was like trying to like avoiding this super nice man for years.
Well, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then like when you actually make that step, you're like, oh shit, that wasn't that bad. Like, we make things a lot worse in our heads than they actually are.
Yeah, like geez, it was just like, and then seeing your dad always had a smile on his face.
Yeah.
He was always super nice and just rocking, and like I really admired him.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah. So, what was like a pivotal spot in your like career as a social worker for you, besides when Judge Reynolds asked like for your opinion?
When I was an intern, like clear as day, two, I suppose. I had two clients, one in particular, who was severely mentally ill and just wicked smart, and just he unfortunately was not necessarily safe for himself or for those around him sometimes. But I was really shocked at the way he was treated through the justice system, and that case was kind of a pivotal moment. I don't need speech therapy.
Well, if you have listened to my podcast, I do that all the time.
It says bleh.
Yeah.
Sounds. But I was in court just to listen, basically. I was just there to observe, and Judge Reynolds was so patient and so incredible with him. And it was awesome. And this guy was so wicked smart. He was incredible and such an incredible artist. And it was really a privilege to be able to work with him. And I never got to see the end of it because my internship finished and I was done at Carroll, and I don't know, my time was in. My time was at the end kind of thing. And there's another time I was working with a client who I had just gotten on the case, and he was in the hospital and stuff, and I sat down and asked him, like, what do you want? Like, what do you want? And he was like, no one's ever asked me that before. It's like, well, that is our first mistake. Like, we're supposed to be in here advocating for people and trying to figure out ways to help them, but we're not asking them what they want. And this person was just like beside himself. Like no one's ever asked that. Like no one's ever considered that. I was like, man, we are not doing our best by we're leaving the person out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're just taking these statistics and these agendas and trying to shove it on our calendar basically.
Yeah.
And it's not
Have the
not
same
working.
diet for the same person.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
like-
exactly. Like, and I hate to go back to horses all the time. I don't actually, but
No.
my whole world is horses. It's
Yeah.
I'm lucky to have found my passion at such a young age. But when you're training a horse, the same method's not going to work for every horse. Every horse is different, and so you can't have the same approach to every horse, and you can't have the same approach to every person either. And that was that guy saying, I've never been asked that before. Holy shit! What are we doing here? Because we're not doing it right. So I tried to, as much as I could, I tried to carry that through. Like when I would get new clients in at the live, like, what do you want out of life? Where do you want to be? Like,
Mhm.
do you want to stay in Helena? Do you want to, like, what do you want to do? Do you want to be a mom? Do you want to do these things? It's okay if you don't, kind of. What do you want? And a lot of people are like, a lot of people in general don't know what they want.
Yeah.
So that's definitely a loaded question, and there were quite a few women who were like, I have no idea, which is fine.
Yeah.
So then our first thing is to figure out, well, what do you want? We'll start there. And it's I'm sure, like going through different careers and jobs and figuring stuff out, like it's okay to jump around a little bit, I think. And it's kind of fun.
It is. Well.
I mean, it's kind of a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
it's also like, I don't know, like I've had a lot of different jobs, and they're all, like my resume is so weird. Like, bartending, and waitressing, and working construction, and having an office job, and being, like, all these different weird jobs.
Mhm.
But it's also, like, trying to figure out what I want out of life, because, like, that guy that had said, I don't, no one's ever asked me that. It's like, I don't think I've ever asked myself that either. Like, I don't think I've ever asked myself that, and I'm certainly not asking my clients that, and I should be.
Yeah.
And so it was definitely like, whoa.
Yeah. So, I like that. Like, you're going into like massage therapy. Like, what is that going to do for you?
Hopefully it's gonna fill my cup and just, I don't know, I'm trying to figure out how to, like I know that I want to be able to travel and do horses. By travel I mean go to shows and shoots and
totally.
stuff.
Totally.
And I want to be able to make my garden, like selling plants and produce legally this year, not illegally last year necessarily, just like I couldn't accept money because I'm not farm necessarily.
Gotcha.
So I'm working on all the USDA stuff.
Okay.
And so creating this income and this job where I can still cater to these other things that I want to do, and create this life that I really want. Like, I don't want to have a job where I'm only thinking about a vacation.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
No way. Life is too freaking short.
It
And I've
is.
seen way too much death to realize, like, to work shit jobs that I don't want to do or that I don't enjoy. And like with the Y, that was a big decision to leave, because I think I hit a point, I got triggered pretty hard in October, and was just like, you know what, I need to deal with some of my stuff, and I also got pretty burned out too. And there's a point when you become less helpful, I guess. You can't bring your best foot forward that the clients deserve.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I want to get out now rather than my clients suffering. And so it was a tough decision. It was really hard to leave. I really care deeply about the women that I worked with, and it was such a privilege to be able to see all this cool stuff, but it also was really tough. It's tough work, and I also love my coworkers too. I just got a Valentine's Day card.
Nice. Nice.
But it was a big decision.
Yeah, the clients that we have a mutual relationship between, they always talk highly of you and like.
Well, that's
yeah,
good.
She's awesome.
I don't think all of them do.
Well, the ones that I know, they're just like, even before like they knew the relationship, they're just, they're just like, yeah, I know, like she's so awesome, blah blah blah. I'm like, oh well, I know her through so and so, and they're just like,
well, that's awesome. I'm glad. Like I always like try and like get through life, and especially going to work and stuff. Like, all right, I need to bring like yeah, I have my own stuff going on, but that's my stuff is not their problem. I'm here to support them, and it's about them right now.
Yeah.
And it was tough some days. There were days where like this fall going through some changes. I would go to work and we did this really cool thing. Every morning we'd sit down and we would talk about what we're grateful for and what our intentions are. And that's been a really big shift that I kind of went through this summer. I read it's called 1,000 Gifts.
Okay.
Incredible book. Oh my gosh. It's just about gratitude and just finding gratitude, like for the big things. Yeah, I mean, like I'm alive today and I'm breathing and I can walk and there's all these wonderful things, but also like I'm really grateful that my cat's sitting on my lap.
Right.
And like Rhoda's passed out on the dog bed and like just smaller things and just finding constant gratitude and finding gratitude for kind of some of the shitty things. Like while the seizures suck, if I wouldn't have started having seizures in high school, I would not have faced my trauma. I would not have faced my demons. Like, none of that would have happened, and I would have just continued to live this miserable, unhealthy life. So, like, I have a lot of frustration, and it's okay to be frustrated and angry and have those negative feelings, because I don't think we talk about them enough. And then you see all these people out there that, like, have this really great life, but they're also not talking about the bad stuff. And then when you have those bad feelings, you're like, oh, this is not normal. I shouldn't feel like this. But finding great like gratitude for those things and like having that morning practice every day at work to start the day, like, what am I grateful for today? And what are my intentions today? Like, my intention today is going to be to, I don't know, be open-minded, or to be grateful for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
Or to go for a walk, to do some self-care and stuff. So that was pretty cool. And the women, like, I think sometimes they were just like, oh my God, we're doing this again. What the hell? Which is fun.
Yeah.
I also showed up to work with a lot of coffee, so I'm sure that like I've had 4 shots of espresso. Let's go. Let's do some push-ups.
And they're just probably getting out of bed.
Yeah.